I've lived 101 years, and through all that time, there's one truth I've learned about life. Relationships are everything, but they aren't always easy. Let me share with you the most important lessons I've learned about human connection. I'm Dr. Thomas Mitchell. I've been fortunate enough to witness changes in the world that many people will never experience. I've seen families grow, friendships evolve, and even the world change through 2 world wars, technological revolutions, and global shifts. But through it all, one thing has remained constant: the need for human connection. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about relationships, why they're crucial to our well-being, and how to nurture them over a lifetime. Trust is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship, whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues. Without trust, a relationship is like a house built on sand. It may look solid at first, but it will crumble with time. Over the years, I've learned that trust isn't automatic. It's something that is earned, nurtured, and at times tested. In my younger years, I thought trust would naturally develop over time, but I came to realize that it requires consistent actions, honesty, and vulnerability. When you trust someone, you allow yourself to be open. You share parts of yourself that you might keep hidden from others. You share your fears, your hopes, and even your weaknesses. This is why trust is so powerful. It allows for deep, authentic connection. But when trust is broken, whether through dishonesty, betrayal, or neglect, it takes a long time to rebuild. Sometimes it can never be fully restored. In my experience, respect is essential to trust. Without respect, trust is fragile. It's the little things that matter: following through on promises, being dependable, and being truthful even when it's difficult. Trust isn't just about honesty. It's about showing up for people when they need you most. It's about making them feel safe. So if you want to build strong, lasting relationships, start with trust. Protect it, nurture it, and remember that it's more easily broken than repaired. Treat it with care, because without trust, you don't have a true connection. As I've gone through life, one thing that has become clear is that quality matters more than quantity when it comes to relationships. In the early years, I often thought the more time you spent with someone, the stronger the bond. I assumed that the length of a relationship was the most important factor. But over the years, I've learned that what really matters is the depth of the connection, not how long you've known someone. I've had friends and family in my life for decades, but I've also encountered people who were in my life for only a short time, and yet the bond we shared was deeper than many long-term relationships. The moments we spent together were rich, meaningful, and impactful. Those moments, no matter how brief, became treasured memories because they were genuine and heartfelt. The idea of spending hours together without truly connecting is something I now realize is quite common. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that proximity or time spent equals closeness. But the reality is, it's the quality of your interactions that shapes the strength of a relationship. A deep conversation, a moment of laughter, or offering someone your undivided attention can have a lasting impact far beyond a mere checking in once in a while. As I've aged, I've learned that being present with someone is far more valuable than just being there. Whether it's a shared memory, a significant life event, or a quiet moment, it's the moments that matter most. So focus on the depth of your connections. True relationships are built not by the number of hours you spend, but by the meaning you create in those hours. One of the hardest lessons I've learned over the years is that people change. When we're younger, we want everything to stay the same: friendships, family dynamics, even our own beliefs and values. but the reality is that change is inevitable, both in ourselves and in those we love. And the key to maintaining strong relationships through that change is embracing it rather than resisting it. I've seen close friends grow in ways that surprised me, some for the better, and some in ways I didn't understand. I've witnessed family members evolve as their lives took different paths. At first, I struggled with this. Change felt uncomfortable. I wanted things to stay as they were, but over time I realized that resisting change creates distance. When we fight someone's evolution, we risk losing them. But when we accept it, we open the door to understanding and deeper connection. The same applies to relationships. When someone changes, it's not a sign that they no longer care or that the bond is broken. It's simply a part of life. Growth happens. People evolve as they experience new things, face challenges, and learn more about themselves. If you love someone, it's important to support their growth, even if it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. And of course, you will change too. I've had to accept that my views, my behaviors, and even my priorities have shifted throughout my life. The lesson here is not to fear change, but to embrace it as part of the journey. Accepting the changes in ourselves and others allows relationships to grow rather than become stagnant. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful gifts you can give in a relationship, yet it's also one of the hardest things to practice. Over the years, I've learned that holding on to grudges only poisons the person carrying them, and it weakens relationships. But forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the harm that was done. It means choosing to release the anger and hurt, so they don't define your connection with the other person. When I was younger, I often carried grudges, believing that forgiveness meant weakness, or that by holding on to anger I was somehow in control. But with age, I've come to understand that anger and resentment do not change the past. They only affect the present. The longer I held on to them, the more energy I wasted, and the more distance I created between myself and the people I loved. What I've found is that forgiveness is freeing. It is liberating. It's not about absolving the other person of their wrongs, but about giving yourself the peace you deserve. When you forgive, you're not excusing the actions, but you're deciding not to let them control your future. This decision opens the door to healing and a deeper understanding of each other. As I've learned, forgiveness also doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Sometimes it's the small, everyday acts of letting go that have the most significant impact. Over time, forgiving has brought me closer to people I thought I would never reconcile with, and in the end, it has brought me peace. Over my 101 years, I've learned that some of the most profound connections don't require any words at all. While conversations and verbal expressions are essential in relationships, I've come to realize that presence often speaks louder than anything we can say. There have been countless times in my life when a simple moment of being with someone without a single word exchanged meant more than hours of talking. I've shared quiet walks with loved ones, sat in silence with friends, and simply been there for people during their most difficult times. Those moments felt deeper than any conversation because they were rooted in genuine empathy and connection. Human connection often transcends language. It's about how we make others feel. A touch on the shoulder, a comforting look, or just being present when someone is in pain can speak volumes. There's a unique power in sharing space with someone without needing to fill the air with words. In those silent moments, you're communicating more than you might think. You're showing the person that they are not alone, that you are there for them, and that you understand without having to explain. Sometimes we get so caught up in what to say that we forget the value of simply showing up. If I've learned anything over the years, it's this: your presence is more meaningful than you realize. It's not always about words, it's about being there in the moments that matter most. As I reflect on my life, it's clear to me that human connection is what makes life meaningful. Whether it's the friendships you've built, the love you've shared, or the family bonds you've cultivated, these relationships are what keep us grounded. Take the time to nurture them. Invest in trust, quality moments, and forgiveness. And above all, stay present, because at the end of the day, these are the connections that will define your life. If you found this video valuable, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. What has your life taught you about relationships? I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, the advice I share comes from a lifetime of experience, but every journey is unique. Always follow your own heart when it comes to your relationships.